Ahoy there. Today on the Red Sea, out of nowhere, my 5-year-old daughter came to me and said, "How do I know that I'm real and not just a dream of someone else?" What other surprisingly deep questions have you been asked by kids? My brother was always very interested in the consciousness of other children when he was a toddler. Whenever there was a baby around, he'd walk up to them and their mother, frown down at the kid when they were shown to him, look at the mother and ask, "Do they know they're alive yet?" He creeped a lot of my aunts and my mother's friends out. Never got a good answer either. My 5-year-old daughter asked my wife and I this about our 3-month-old brother the other day. "Dad, does Mickey know he's alive yet?" "Why do you ask that?" I said. She replied with, "Well, he does not know his name yet. And I know that because when I call him, he does not turn to look at me." I think that if you do not know who you are, you must not know you are alive. My wife and I did not know how to respond. There's actually a test for this. You put a paint dot or something similar on a baby's forehead and have them face a mirror. If they wipe it off, then they are self-aware. To answer your brother's question, they most likely do not know they're alive. When I was a teacher, one of my first graders asked, "Do you have any kids?" After I said that I did not, and I did not even have a wife or a girlfriend, he said, "That's too bad. Do you know how I know you would be a good dad? You never hit me." I spent so many lunch hours crying in the staff bathroom at that job. At an Italian restaurant with my 10-year-old last week, I ask him if he likes his food. He nods, pauses, looks down and says, "I wonder what my arm tastes like." He then licks his arm, looks off in the distance, and says, "Tastes ... neutral." Not sure if this is deep, but it was certainly meaningful. My daughter, age 3ish at the time, was putting coins into a piggy bank. I jokingly asked her if she was rich. Without looking up, she replied, "I'm not rich. I'm just happy." She's even repeated it since. Made me hella proud. Why do you and mommy have to leave? Me. Because if we do not, our bosses will get mad at us. I do not like bosses. There should not be any bosses. Me. People who do not think there should be bosses are called anarchists. Several months later ... throwing fit about wanting to go to the toy store. Me. That's not going to happen. It's late. I'm tired. We're going home. Calming down, I know. Why do not you go home and take a nap? But I go to the toy store. That way we all get what we want. Me. No. That's not what we're going to do. We're going home. But why not? You're not the boss of me. Me. Actually, kid, I have some hard news for you. I'm the boss of you. Shocked but ... I do not believe in bosses. I'm an anarchist. She was 3 years old. It has not gotten easier. My 5-year-old little girl once said, "If plants need rain and sun to grow, and rainbows are made of light and water, are rainbows plant food?" When I was 4 or 5, I had an existential breakdown because I did not know what it felt like to be a bone in another person's body. Freaked my parents the duck out. My cousin was 7, 8ish when she came up to me and asked, since I know English and think in English, that means that someone who knows French thinks in French to write. I said yes, and then what she said made me rather sad. Then even telepathy could not stop different people from fighting and hurting each other. My 4-year-old cousin asked, is apparently very interested in infinity. As a mathematician, I tried to explain things as best I could for him. One day he sits down with me, draws a circle and says, "Okay, so there are infinity lines from the middle of this circle to the sides, right?" "Yes. But what if we extend those lines out? Is there more infinity?" Methodica. Cantor went mad about this shite. Year 4. Go play with some Hot Wheels. I cannot wait to see what he does when he grows up. Fingers crossed for mathematician. There is something inexplicably scary about little girls which act more mature than they should. My cousin asked me, he was in 1st or 2nd grade, when we were sitting in my grandma's garden. My guess was that he read/heard it somewhere, but it was still amazing that a 7-year-old was thinking about such things. Mike, how would you know that you are happy if you were never sad before? Well, you would not really. So it's a good thing people are also sad. I did not really know what to say. It's just I did not really realize that everything is relative till I was much older than him. What if when you die, part of you is still alive and you just have to sit there underground forever? Asked by a little 4-year-old at a summer camp I was working at. Scared the shite out of my ultra religious friend. Not sure if this qualifies as deep, but I visited my nieces last week and made a Santa Claus-like entry. Without the costume. Just bag full of gifts. After opening the gifts, my 5-year-old niece comes up to me and hugs me. Also best feeling ever. Just before going back to her toys, she looks at me with a genuinely puzzled expression and asks why do people get us gifts? I was watching fireworks with my son sitting next to me. He calmly said, "The sound is slower than the lights." Not a question, but a response. Him getting a degree in education, and during a classroom observation I saw an assignment with the prompt, "What makes a good citizen?" A unknowingly prophetic second grader responded, "They do not lie. I hate school." My 4-year-old nephew looked out the window when we were driving cross country. That's my world out there. ISN not it? Apparently when I was 4 years old, I had this conversation with my dad. "Dad, are there infinite words?" "No, son. But there are infinite numbers." "Well, if there is a word for every number, then there must be infinite words." Then I walked away and left my dad mind blown. Well, not exactly kids, but teens. 14 to be exact. So I work with troubled teens. And there was this one boy who has the saddest eye of a 14-year-old kid I have ever seen. He was diagnosed with AD. Without the hyperactivity. He rarely talks, but he drinks. I kid you not. That kid drank alcohol like a 21-year-old in a college party. Anyways, one day he came up to me, looked me dead in the eyes and said, "Confuse a diffuse. I'm done with drinking. Hell, I'm done trying to act like I'm tough and that I'm a grown up. I want ice creams. I want to ride the swings. I want to have smash again, but with someone I love." I was caught off guard. There was no response that I can give to this young man. Then he said, "You do not need to write this down on my report, because I wrote this down in the deepest part of my living soul. Duck yes. I'm gonna start living now." Then he walked away, like, "Hey, boss, tears that day, tears." Driving by a cemetery, my 4-year-old son saw a couple people with watering cans. He asked, "Dad, will your family grow back if you water them?" Sigh dot dot. Apparently when I was about 5 I asked my mum what infinity meant. When she told me, I replied with, "So you cannot really say anything's infinite then. Just because you cannot see the end does not mean there is not an end." She didn't know what to say. When I was little I used to ask my parents what I looked like. I was never certain people saw things in the way I did, where I might see a girl with brown hair. My parents might see what I would think were purple and black blobs that they interpreted as a girl with brown hair. Guess I'll never know. It's an unfalsifiable theory. My son is deaf, so he has always had difficulty expressing himself. One day when he was around 5 he came to me and kept dropping his ball on the ground and looking back up at me. "What's that?" he said. "A ball?" I replied. "No, why does it move when I let go?" "You mean why does it fall?" I inquired. "Yeah. That is called gravity, but it is a mysterious force that no one truly understands." I did not know how to begin to frame it in a way that would make sense. I ran through the core principles, Kepler, Newton, Einstein, Hubble, the whole wash in an instant, and had no idea how to spit this out in a way that would make sense. Like magic? No, not like magic. I was searching for a way this would make sense without invoking religion or magic. Though like in a game. Like in a world. It's like the rules for this world. He gestured around the room. Like in your computer it's all machines. Like we are all machines. Yeah, that is a good description. I was beginning to feel that my prattling on about science and the interconnectedness of life was actually sinking in. Does this mean we are real? Or is it like in the game where the people are only as real as the game? He looked like he was staring into an internal abyss. Does it matter if this is a game and we are characters? I asked. No, we just need a graphics card like this to play Portal 2, he said. Then we played Portal 2. When I was 4, my dad picked me up from preschool and took me to Big Boys. As we're sitting at our table, I said, "Why are we here, Daddy?" "Well, we're here to have lunch," he replied. No. Why are we here on this earth?" Edit. When my mom came home he said, "I'm not prepared for this shite." When my son was 5, he told me that there are no such things as circles. We'd just decided to homeschool that kid, as he'd been doing rather badly in school. But I was pretty sure it taught him his shapes back when he was a toddler. So I said, "Sure, there's circles. Just like there's squares and triangles." "No," he says. "Circles are just polygons with lots and lots and lots of sides. Until they get so small you cannot see them. And they're still there. Yeah. He knew words like polygon. Because we're a family of geeks. I do not know, I said, looking at a margarine lid. That sure looks like a circle to me. But it's made of bits. Right? You mean atoms? Yeah, bits. Next to each other. So, not a circle. Just bits. Data bits. They work like pixels. And off he goes. Very pleased to have taught me something. Homeschooling that kid was an interesting experience. My girlfriend told me this story. She was on a road trip and her then 5-year-old nephew asks her, "Are we here yet?" A seemingly innocent mix-up of words caused a deep philosophical awakening that was very hard to explain. Are we here yet? Yes, we are. Are we there yet? No. And when we get there, there will actually be here. So, everywhere you go, you're here and not there. So, are we there yet? No. And we never will be. I have, on several occasions, got into conversations with children where they persist in asking why to everything I say. It usually ends up in a long chain of answers which ends with because that's how fundamental particles react with each other. If you are reading this, you made it until the end of the video. Smash that like button if you have enjoyed it. Bam. On screen there should be some more videos similar to this. So either go do something else or watch more videos. That's about it. There is no more here. What are you waiting for, a secret message or something? This is not a secret, but subscribe for more videos like this.